All right, team. So in the last one, we set up Next, we set up Contentful, and we set up Chakra. So those are all running. So now what we want to do is we want to actually fetch the data from Contentful and display it in our app. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to go for round 2. Ran out of camera battery. So the first thing here, we're going to continue on from this piece. So we're going to add in our GraphQL. So get blog post query. That sounds good to me. Sweet. Sweet. And then need to close that one. Pull that one in. Cool. And then, so what we need to actually do here is we're going to need to check on the Contentful. We want to see the GraphQL structure. So let's see. So we're going to go to the GraphQL client. Let's see. I know that. There we go. These guys. All right, the endpoint. So we need an endpoint, which we can grab from our Apollo client. There we are. Let's grab the space over there. Cool. We're going to need to add in some headers here. So let me just try something. So this is going to be authorization bearer. Cool. So it's, we got it over here. Cool. So bump that up for you guys. All right, so this is we can see our GraphQL endpoint here. So we've got the blog post and we've got the blog post collection. So we're actually after the blog post collection. So we want to get on the front page, probably going to fit 16. We want to get a limit and we want to include items. We want the title. We want the content. We want the main image, which we want from here. We want the URL. And we want to transform that. Let's say we're going to go with, you know what? We don't actually need to transform that one. Let's just run that. See what we get. Cool. So we can see in here, we've got the items from the coming out. We've got the title. We've got the content in Markdown. We've got the main image and the main image URL. And let's just double check that that actually works. So we can see here, there we go. There's the picture. All right. So this is basically our query over here. And we're going to chuck that into here. And that's it. So now what we want to do is we want to actually make a query. I mean, we could use use get server side props here. So we can wait for it. Static, no. I wonder if that's been deprecated. Oh, nice one. So we're going to get the data. I like, yeah, and it's there. Then we're going to say the blog post is equal to the data, blog collection, items. Wow, well done. And that should give us that. Now we should have props coming in here. Now I'm just going to console log these props just to see what we have. And let's just also make sure, let's move this one out of the way. Awesome. Inspect. Check out the console. Pop this guy out. What do we have? Got an object. No, refresh. 401. Cool. Why are we getting a 401? It's 401. What are we saying here, lads? $401. What are we sending? This is only things. How do we actually know what we're sending? I'm not a Next.js expert. But let's see. So the client. Maybe let me just see this. Maybe we have to restart. We haven't probably restarted since we added the environment variables. So let's just give that a go and see if that helps us out. No. All right. What are you sending, champ? Contentful management token, contentful space ID. Cool. So what I want to do, I'm going to just console log this and see if we actually get it at all. Excuse me. It's got the space ID. That's good. V1. Cool. And we got the authorization bearer. Query. Just double check everything. Debugging. Await client.query. Are we doing the client query? Queries get blog posts. I'm actually going to just rename this to get blog post query. Just for convention. Data. And then what we can do is we can just make sure we always have something, empty array. But why are we getting a 401? Blog post collection. All right, I'm going to just pause this for a second and give it a go and just see if I can figure it out. Cool, found it. Classic stitch up. Get rid of that guy. And away, I'm going to clear that guy. All right, let's go. And we're on. Here we go, blog post array. We're in business. Content, main image, title. Awesome. Cool. So jumping back in, let's go here. Let's look at our grid. So at the moment, these are just hard-coded boxes. So let's add in a component, blog post tile. Jump inside that guy. Cool. Component, chuck that in. So what are we going to get? We're expecting a blog post. And I mean, what does this look like? So we have a title, it's a string. We have a content string. We have a, what does the main image look like? It's URL. So we basically have main image URL string. Sick one. Pull you down there. Sweet. So what is this? This is just a blog post. Sweet. Then we've got blog post here. And now all we're going to do, chuck that guy in there. All right, so we can grab our blog posts out of here. Yep, thank you. Check this out. Where are you? Awesome. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to go map through these. Thank you. So what has it done here? Clean that up. All right, so what we need to do is we need to import the local component. Blog post tile, that's what we want. Give it a key. Probably need the ID actually, so that is a special field inside of this guy. Let me just hide these. So we need items, I believe it is under system ID. That's on the image. So we want it on system ID. Let's double check that. So we're going to get system ID, and that's the Contentful ID right there. So we're going to chuck that into our GraphQL. Items, we want system ID. Love it. So now we just will add that to our tile as well. The sys ID is a string. What do you say? Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass in blog post equals blog post. Any type. Okay, that's cool because we haven't defined that up here yet. So we probably need to, where can we put the type for this guy? Well, this tile's always going to live inside the index. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to move this into here. We're going to export it. So we can grab it. And what we're going to do is import type blog post. Yep, that's going to do me. Great. Now what we can say is that the home props is going to have blog posts of blog post array. Love it. Love it. What are we looking? So, okay, yep. So we're complaining here because there's no ID, which is 100% correct. It's sys ID. No, that's going to exist. Cool. What do we have now? Sys ID. Blog post sys ID. All right, let's just give that a, could it just be, yeah, it's old data. Cool. So there we go. We've got a blog post. All right. Let's just go into Contentful. Where are we? There we go. Let's add another. It's just asking me to save some changes. So I'm just going to save them. So I'm going to do content. I'm going to add another entry. I'm going to say workout Monday 10 April, and then today's workout. So yeah, if you guys follow this channel, I'm also going to post up what we did today for exercise, for training. So we've actually just started the Matt Fraser's Hard Work Pays Off 60, which looks pretty cool. So today was legs. We did back squats. We did 10, 8, 6, 4, and then front squats, 4 sets of 5 at 60 and 70%. So it's just warming up. Pretty good. It had a cardio piece with some rowing. And then we finished off with an ab workout, which was actually intense. 20 seconds hollow holds, which shouldn't have been that hard, but really were. So I'm going to post that up as well. So I'll just write down here, we said strength. This is just quickly, so we just go back squats, front squats. So yeah, if you guys are keen on seeing some videos of that, we'll get those up as well. All right, so we're just gonna add some media. Just gonna use the same picture as last time. And what is missing here, Chief? Publish. All right, let's see if that works now. Always a double refresh. Takes a while for the data to come in. Okay, well, we'll let Contentful do its thing, and then hopefully that'll come in soon. Anyway, we can continue. So what we want to do here is we want to say the width is 100% because it's in a grid, so should be fine. And then we're going to say background. I'm just going to give it a background color for now, just so we can see it. Okay. We actually, that's fine. We might have to play with the grid as well though, just to make sure that it doesn't grow to 100%. I want to keep it always be the same. Height 300. Yeah, that's cool. So I think just designing this off the fly, on the fly, we want to have a picture. So we're going to have I'm going to put all the content in a flex. So we're going to actually put the title as a heading. Cool. Grab that. Then we are just going to have text here. Wow. All right. Text. And this will be, I'm actually going to destructure this here. So we're going to get content and title. We're actually going to probably run into a problem here because content is markdown, and we might even have to add a summary. I feel like we might have to add a summary block just to give a summary, because yeah, if the rest of the content is in markdown, we're going to have to render markdown on the main page, which I don't really want to do, just purely for aesthetics. So what we'll do is we'll jump back into Contentful. We're going to jump into the content model again, edit the blog post, and I'm going to add a field, and I'm going to have a text field, and we'll go this one. We're going to call it summary. Cool, create and configure. And that one is literally going to just be multi-line. I don't want markdown for that one. So we just go to the summary of blog post. And this is required as well. Probably want to limit the character count on this one eventually, but for now we'll just do this. So I'm going to chuck that field there. I'm going to save this model. Let's just jump back into here. So this one, follow along as I build this. Let's just maybe just my personal website using Next.js and Contentful. Sweet as. I'm probably going to use ChatGPT to summarize articles in the future, if I'm honest. And then here for the workout, so we're going to say first day training with the HWPO 60 program. Started with back squats and front squats. Every minute on the 2 minutes. Love that. Cool. Let's see. Are we live? There we go. got our 2 workouts. Sorry, 2 posts. Cool. So that's good. Let's save that. Sweet. So that's what I was talking about, yeah. This is disgusting. Definitely don't want that. So this is going to be the summary, but the first thing we have to update is our GraphQL to get it. Otherwise we're not going to have that. That's a string. Chuck that in here. Content title. Love keeping everything alphabetical, just so that it's easy to find when you're scanning. So content, main image, summary system, title, love of that. Now we should be able to grab that from here and use that instead. There we go. Love it. Cool. So direction is going to be column. Cool. We want a little margin top on that guy. Start at 8, maybe 4. Sweet. Size here, we're going to go with a small heading. Not too small. Medium. That'll do. Excellent. And then above that, I actually want to have the image. So we'll probably use next image here. So we're going to grab image from next image. That's the one. Just don't have all the props. So I'm just going to grab it. So we have in our set similar thing. So we got main image. Use fill prop. Cool, okay. What? Sweet, yep, no this problem. So that is in our next config. So we jump back into here. Chuck that guy in there. That's the one. So it just wants us to whitelist this host name so it can fetch the pictures. All good, bro. Whoa, all right. What have you done there? That is not what we want. But cool. So let's see what you're doing. I'm just going to kill this because it's polluting the... What are you saying? Cool, so it's rendering the image in the entire thing. That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. So one thing that I've noticed is if we jump into using grid, maybe we'll change the grid. I'm just going to change the grid out because I don't like how that simple grid works. I actually always find that I fall back to grid. I always use simple grid and I always fall back. So for some reason, it just does not work for how I want it. Margin top 8. That's cool. Need to chuck the width of 100 on that guy. And get rid of simple grid. Pull in grid instead. Next image, don't need that here. Don't need this here. Tidy that up. Now this becomes a grid item. Instead of a flex box. Don't have styles. Cool, well that's getting there, but not quite. So we want to maintain the aspect ratio. So YouTube thumbnail size is 16 by 9. So we need to get the 16 by 9 ratio. So this one's min max. And what's the height here? 440. So what are we getting? It's about 296 is 16 times 9. 166 is what we want here to start. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that doesn't look 16. Doesn't quite look right, does it? Maybe. So let's just YOLO it a bit. Until we get something that looks relatively okay. That looks all right. Pretty happy with that. Now, what is going on here? We still are missing. So what was happening here is there's a whole grid items 250. We actually need this to be 250 max height, or let's call it height. Can we say height? 250. 250. That's what we want. We don't want to hide on this guy. Damn. Cool. So we need we use fill, maybe we have to do I wonder if we have to do a box here. That's not going to work because you haven't been imported. Okay. That looks more than 250 though. I wonder what it chooses. Always had a problem with working with the Next images, to be honest. This would be good if I had some live comments. A dynamic width. There we go. Thank you, internet. So we also want to clip this guy. So what we've done is just put a box around the image, and then from there chuck the radius, and then clipping the overflow to give a little corner. And then on top of here, we're going to do margin top go with 4 again. There we go. Pretty simple. This isn't right here. You can see that. That's a rookie error right there. So what we want, we actually want to set the position of this to fixed. Awesome. That's going to change our layout. So we need to know, so the sidebar is 200. So we need to say this guy, margin left is 200 pixels. And we're back on. Sweet. That's looking pretty good. Okay. So what I want to do here is let's just the blog post tile. We wanted to, on this content piece, we might chuck a border on it. So I'm just designing on the fly here. So bear with me. Solid. Okay, so we might use padding instead of margin. And then we might do border radius. What are you? Border radius. Okay. Border bottom, so top left and bottom and top right. Those are going to be rounded. And that's going to go straight down. So already we can see a problem here. There's 2 different heights. So let's fix that. We probably want to limit this to maximum 2 lines here, maximum 2 lines here. So we can say number of lines is 2. So that'll always clip it for us. And the same here, I believe. So if we have more than 2 lines of text here, we should truncate it. So basically this will almost be a back. The only other thing that I want to say here is probably have a link. So we'll use, where's it's link, next, we call it next link from. Sweet, let's try this guy. That's interesting. Where do we have an error? Just gonna link it straight back here just for now. Test. Cool. A link. So what we're gonna probably create a route. It'll probably be posts slash. So this will be an object. We'll probably just do the ID here. So it'll just be posts, and then we're gonna use sys. So we're gonna grab sys ID. And we're expecting it. Let's go. There we go. So you can see down the bottom there we got posts with that's it there. Cool. So what we'll have to do is create a new folder and then a route there. So that's cool. Chuck. So I mean we can probably do a margin Y here just to create space. And what we're going to say is read more. it'll take us there. So we could use Chakra link. And then they have something special here with next link. Okay. So we can grab link from Chakra. And then it's link as next link. href. There we go. So we're getting some styling. And then we can actually give it its own margin now. So now we can control it how we want. What do they have there? What props do we have? So just do color. Sweet as. So I'm gonna bold it this. What are you doing, Copilot? There we go. Let's see. There we go. Cool. So what I also want to do here, round the bottom of this. So we're going to do the similar thing. Chuck these all in their own line. And instead of border top here, we're going to use border bottom. Great. And then the color of the border, so border color, gray 200, you reckon? Maybe gray 100. Just really faint. Now what I want to do is I want to see how big this block is currently. Sitting at 186. So I think I'm going to, because we've limited both those lines to that, we'll say the height here is 186 pixels. Now we've got them lined up. Actually, what we're going to do here is we're going to push this guy down so it's always down the bottom. So all we're going to do is margin top here. We're going to chuck auto on that. Now we've got lined up links. Cool. You know what? You probably want this to be a link as well. And probably the photo as well eventually. But we'll get to that next. Cool. So let's do a little experiment. What we want to do is we want to add a few more articles. There we go, it's as easy as hitting duplicate. Great, now we just have to publish them. There we go. We've got content. Shrinks into 1. And then on a big screen, getting more. Not a big fan of that aspect ratio, so we definitely need to sort that out. So maybe not fill. Fill should be correct. I think you can do fill position. So let's go next image fill aspect ratio. What does they say? Object fit. Use what instead? Style prop. Contain. Nah. Cover. That's better. Keeps the aspect ratio. It gets a bit funky, but still maintains it. Sweet as. It's looking good. Love it. I'm a big fan of this. Just black and white. Something simple. Cool. All right, what's next? Need to do a header. Also need to do a nav. So I'm going to just take a quick break, but BRB. And we're back. Here we go. So I think what we'll get started on next is actually the navbar. Actually, we need to have a blog post. So what we're going to do here inside of pages, we're going to create a directory called posts. And inside of that, we're going to have ID. So let's set up it's going to be post pops. I always like to export at the bottom of the file, just for me, it's super clear. So what we're going to do here, we also need to, now we're going to load by ID. So we're going to do the similar thing here. So we need our client, need a GraphQL client. And I just also want to, we need a query. So we're going to have const get post by ID query. Yep, thank you very much. It's actually quite good when it wants to be. But we do have to check what that looks like. But before we even get anywhere, what I want to see is we need to use get the variable. So yeah, it's good to watch a rookie in Next.js. Next.js page params. Cool, so let's just use router. So what we can do here, let's just return a div saying blog post. Let's just double check that this actually works. So post / ID of blah. Yeah, buddy. Don't care about that right now. Or this blog post. What do we have here? Nothing, because you have to console log. Cool. So here we go. We got a path name. Query should be here. There it is. There's the ID. Right here. Boom. So what we need to do is we can actually, from here, you can actually just destructure this query ID. And that's it. So what now, we actually have this in here now. Dynamic routes. What we need to do is we need to get it in the server props, actually. So we need a dynamic, so it's next get server side props. Context. Because we need that, we actually need the ID to make the query here. So it's just context query ID. Oh, there you go. Cool. All right. So now what we need to do is we'll look at, where are you here? So inside of this, what we want to do is have a look. So let's just close this off. There's a blog post ID. So we can just grab that one. And then again, we want the title, we want the content. I wonder if we need to refresh this actually. We also need our summary. No, we don't need the summary on this page. So what we'll do is main image, then we need the URL. We might not even need that, but that's for now, we'll grab it. So get post by ID, blog post, don't want to hard code that. And excuse me, my GraphQL is pretty rusty as well. And then in here we pass in variables. That's it. Is it variables? Yep. And this is going to be ID. Great. And the data is going to be a blog post. And that's it. So it's either going to be a blog post or we're going to return an empty object. We're going to just call this blog post. Don't need this here. Let's just log our props out and see what we're getting. Let's see. There we go. We got something. Empty object. What is the deal? Okay, you know why? Because there's no such thing as ID AERASD. So in that instance, you probably want to return a not found page or redirect it. But I'm going to leave that for now. So we want to link from a blog, so in our blog post tile, we want to link to the correct ID. So here we go, we actually have that already. So if we step back, we can say, cool, let's check out this post, read more. Now if we check this, there we go. Got our content, got our title, and everything's good to go. So the next piece of the puzzle is setting up this page so that it renders properly. So we're going to grab the index, and here you can see we're using our default layout. So we're going to grab that again. I'm going to wrap the whole thing in a default layout. And then we're going to set up our, that's the header. So we don't need that, and there's the grid. So let's just give that a go and see what we're getting. Cool. So now this is where we have to decide how this is actually going to look. So I guess what I'm going to just start with is the title. So let's grab that. We're going to use a heading. Sweet. There we go, heading. And this is going to be, so we know in here we're getting a blog post from props. And then this is going to have blog post.title. Boom. Excellent. Let's just fix this up so he doesn't cry. Now, this type, I'm just going to write object for now, but we can define this type here. So it's going to be, you know what, you can actually use so it's like use GQL as type. We can actually, when we're using the query, you can definitely do this. I just can't remember how. Give me a second. I'll find it for us and we can all have a great day. Maybe for another day. But anyway, so let's just go blog post. We'll just keep moving. Title is a string. Content is a string. Main image is an object with the URL of a string. Cool. Great, that's the type blog post, and what we're expecting here is blog post. Cool. And we need to import. We're getting a little import get server-side props. Sweet. No type errors. Having a great day. All right, so now what we want to do is we actually want to render the markdown. So let's find render markdown React. I think it's called React Markdown. There he is. So we need this guy. So let's go. Cool. So let's grab this guy. Yarn add. Wonder what this looks like, hey? So inside of our blog post, we're going to import React Markdown. That is strange from... And we're going to just chuck it in here for now. What I also want to do is just destructure this guy. So we've got content title. We don't need that. That. What do we have? Interesting. This is the heading, and the smaller heading is the same size as the heading. That's not 100% right, if we're honest. But it kind of looks like Markdown. Unless my Markdown is not right. Syntax highlight. Sure. Okay, so this is how we can do syntax highlighting, which is what we want to do. React syntax highlighter, which has not been updated for a while. Okay, let's give it a go. So, to install it. Now they're doing it. Weird that nothing's formatting for me. What are you saying? What are you saying? Sweet. So what we can do is here we can go children is the markdown. So it looks like it turns into cool. All right. So we go self-closing. Children is equal to content, and then components. Let's give this guy a spin. Code. Do not pass children as props. Okay. That's the children. That's not a prop. Hopefully that's what you wanted. Alright. What do we have? Helps if you start the server again. Unexpected token export. Was it chilled? Why? Weird. Okay, so it wants it like this. But that's not the problem. Unexpected token export. Cool, that worked. So we just changed out the ESM to CJS. What I want to know is, how do we just tell it what language we're using? So I'm just going to jump into this. No, this guy. So if we say JS, what are you going to do for us? Anything? One day. Oh, look at that. Got some code formatting, highlighting, some weird, crazy drop shadow. Disgusting. But we are on the way, so that's pretty cool. I like that. Alright, so the next thing is, let us chuck this guy. I wonder if this one, so what we'll do is we'll just chuck him in a box and move him into there and make that margin top, give it some breathing room. Easy. Cool. So like other things that you obviously want in bold paste, when was it made? When was it written? Who wrote it? It's probably always going to be me. But let's see what we can do about this style, because it is hurting my eyes. So React syntax highlighter, what do we have? Oh, okay, Prism. So here we go. What do we have? Twilight? Nope. That's the VS Code. No. Nope. Pretty cool, I must say. Very, very cool. I wonder how you get it without the shadows. What's a good one? To be honest, I don't know. Either probably tomorrow or twilight for me. Nah, not twilight. Let's go tomorrow. So, I wonder if it's just called tomorrow. There, tomorrow. There we go. Does it still have... That's cool. That's very cool. So let's just try something else. So if I was writing more, then I continued with my post and wrote another code block. Export const, export blog post. Let's just see what this does. Interesting, it almost looks like it's trying to auto-complete it here. Let's publish that. Very interested to see how this all works. Give that guy a bit of time, eh? Oopsie. No, it's not coming in yet. Cool. I'm probably, my markdown's probably incorrect, if I'm honest. But it looks like it knows what it's doing here. Not sure why it doesn't know how it's doing here. That's all right. We'll get to that. So that's great. What we want to be able to do, so let's chuck in the sidebar here so we can get back to the main page, main screen. So inside of our sidebar, chuck a new UL. I think our friends at Chakra have a little list. Yep, so it's a list, unordered list. Just so we don't have to muck around with the base styles. And then we have a list item. This is cool. List item. Home. Interesting. I don't want that. Blog. Work. Great, that's what we want. Put it in black. Cool. What I want to see is if we can go import next link. That is strange that that doesn't get auto-completed. Cool. That works. Great. Pretty average sidebar. Let's go list style. What are my options here? None. Yep. Great. Remove the default margin. Yep. Great. So I want a full width. I want, what else do I want? Move font size. No, XL. Too big. What do we reckon? Probably too big as well. Cool. What I want line height here. 1. What are you doing? Yeah. So I want to control that. Let's see. Chuck some padding on it. Cool. Let's check it out. Cool. Great. Got some nav. But we definitely want to, I mean, we could chuck the line height. That even, we could even go 2. Sweet as. Cool. That's looking pretty decent so far. So we also want, what else do we want in here? So we want a work page, which is basically just all the things that we've built. Blog, showing all the articles, posts, and then the home page, which is this one. Just trying to think if there's anything else that we need on here right now. Do you even need a header? That's the question. Do we even need a header? You're not logging in. Could be for searching, which I'm imagining is going to be quite interesting. So if we go Contentful Search, Content Search API. I wonder if it's as simple, I bet you it's as simple as just calling. If we went blog post collection, where? There we go. It's that simple. We can just say content contains Next.js. What is that? Nothing. Do you really? Pretty sure that had content. No, it actually didn't have Next.js. My bad. So the title contains Next.js. So title contains Next.js. Let's see. You're going to return? Yep. Okay. That is interesting. So basically, I don't actually even know what the hell happened there. So I've manually written this. It seems to work, which is cool. So what we'll do here is we'll create a search page, so that when you hit search, it'll take you to a filtered list. So what we're going to do here, so we're going to have it's a new file. We're going to have search. I wonder how this works properly. So search, and then we want to query. I wonder if this works. Let's try. It's the only way we can find out. So I'm going to grab this. Oh, I'm just going to start using the component. So this is search page. This should actually be called post page as well, by the way, just for me, for sanity. Great. Search page, props. It's not going to have that. What I want to see here, actually want to just see, so if we're going to go search, let's just pull in our layout. Sweet, so we should have search page. Now what I want to just see is query equals Next.js. And I want to see, so we're not getting anything there. So if we grab import use router, I'm going to go router, payload equals use router. Let's just see what we're getting in there. Do we have a there we go, we got a query param. Cool. So what we can do here is we can go from the router, so we can go query and then yeah, I mean Q, sure. We could even just call it, I usually call it string. So let's do this and then update this. That's our search query, Next.js. So again, remembering from the last page, we're going to set up our export get server side props context is get server side props context. You're gonna get that for us. Excellent. I'm gonna go const. It's gonna be query search. Where are you, Copilot? Return props. Let's just see. Sorry, not search, string. Let's comment that guy out. Wow, what is going on? Alright, let's see what happens. Oh, that'll be logging in here. There we go. Wonderful. Cool, and we're back again. Had a little bit of a screen freeze in OBS. Alright, anyway. So, for console logging, we are getting, so if we go back to our search page, string Next.js, you can see that it's coming through. That's awesome. So now what we can do is we can get the rest of the stuff. So we're going to grab the data. This is an async function. We need the client. This is a type here, actually. We need GraphQL. Sweet. We're going to use a grid and a heading component there. And then we're going to import the blog post type as well. And what we're expecting here is blog posts array. We need to set up our GraphQL query. So it's very similar to the index page, just with that OR query that we did before. We've got the string coming in. Then we're doing OR, then we're just saying either the title contains or the content contains. And then this returns exactly the same as the index page. So in here, we're going to have blog posts. Don't need the router here because we're doing it all in side of that other one. So we don't need use router. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a heading and we're going to have a grid, which I'm going to copy from the other page. And the string, you know what? Probably should have kept that one. We do need a use router. I want to show what we're searching for. So that's cool. And then we're going to import the blog post tile. Yep, that's it. And then we need to pass the props through so that we can do that. Let's see, there we go, results. What's this? Results for squats. Workout, workout. I love that. That is our search page running. So I think what we're going to do now is let's just quickly in the header. The header, we can literally just have an input. Or maybe that, let's see if they have a search component here for us. I think they have a special way. So they go input. And then I think you can have an icon. There's a placeholder. There's an icon. So input group. Input group. Input and input left element. Cool. So we're going to have an input group like this. We're going to have an input type. This is just text. Sweet. I really need my ESLint running. So children, that's interesting. Probably pass that in like this. Phone icon. We need a search icon. How do we add icons? This has it. Icon. Okay, so we need Chakra icons. All right, let's get installed. Sweet. Let's look for what we have. I think it's search icon. That's what we want. Search icon, love it. And this is search. There we go. So this guy needs some padding. Yeah, that'll do. And then we can pull off the height here. We don't need that. Search. We do need a form. Do they have a form? Form control. No. It's not what we want. Just want a form. Form on submit. I just want to log out E. This one, input name, string, form action is what we actually want. It's going to be search. Let's see what happens here. There we go. So if we go home and then we say, I want to search for Next.js, away we go. Never do forms like that, but there we go. That's how easy it is. Where does we live search on the top right? So what we're going to do is jump in here. I'm going to go align. I think it's just justify. flex end. That's it. Let's do flex end. Just need to see how wide, what's dictating our form's width here. Who is it? Is it you? Yep. So that's got a default width. So what do we want? We want 30% to search. Not bad. All right, you know what we also need is if you search for something, some T, we need to actually show, hello, no search results here, thank you, try again. So what we'll do is we'll say no blog post length. We're going to say heading, sorry, no results found. Please try searching something else. That's disgusting. So we need size here. We're going to give it medium. Even rec. Is that? What's that? Setting the height, the width here. It's because we're in a grid. Don't want that. Want that there. There we go. That's better. That's better. Yep. And I want to give you a little bit of room to breathe. Remember, white space is important. Always let things breathe. Sorry, no results found. Please try searching for something else. You know what we can even do in that instance is you could even just show some posts just to like get them out of no man's land. But that could be a future, I mean, we could even say return home. So we need a little fragment here. So let's do a link, and we're going to do, again, we need our friend next link. So remembering the syntax, so link as next link href. We're going to just go take you straight home. Sure, too much auto-completing going on here for my liking. Go back. Oh, what's this? Go back to home. Go back home. That reads weird to me. Sweet. I'm just going to give that some margin top again. Results for some tick. Sorry, no results home. Go back to home page. Boom. There we go. Back in. Back in. Excellent. So with the work page, this is something we can do here. What are we going to do? I'm going to play around with this quickly because I just want to procrastinate. So I'm just going to bump up. I just want to give a bit more room here and here for a little bit of breathing. So padding bottom 12. Then I want some margin top here as well. You know what I might do? Instead of chucking margin top on this guy, in the layout, I think we can give it a bit more padding up here. Just to give it a bit more breathing room. We've got the space, and now when we go to another page, it'll all line up. That looks cool. Oh, there we go. There's our second blog, our second code snippet. Looks awesome. That's looking real cool. What we also need to do, I guess, is also we need to see how can we actually embed a YouTube video into the blog post. So Contentful embed YouTube. Better YouTube. I mean, that I actually want that to always sit on the top. So I'm going to do something slightly different here. So what I'm embed YouTube. So YouTube React embed. You don't need to use this. Let's just see, what are we doing? Yeah. I'm wondering here, what do we do? What's the best way to embed a YouTube video? We don't want to handle build the styles. Simple React component. Yeah, let's just see, how does this work? Usage. Yeah, I'm just going to add another thing. Given this is a personal blog, I'm not too fussed with the dependencies. In a production application, I definitely would be considering these things. Like, do we need to build it? It's very simple. Or do we just use a package? Obviously, the more packages you add, the harder it is to update and keep everything up to date, in sync. So, something to keep in mind.